Welcome to another episode of Wood Talk, an NWFA podcast. I'm Brett Miller, joined today by very well-known distributor who has really done an amazing job of staying in front of contractor and in front of our industry with through a lot of different methods, and I think are pretty well known throughout the industry, even if you're not in their market. But I'd like to introduce City Floor Supply. Today we're joined by Mike and Joe Glavin and Karen Baxter and Amanda Fox-Rauch. I know you guys, you've been in business for a long time. The reason that I say I think you're very well known within the industry is because you guys have done an amazing job of staying in front of the contractor, putting out content for people to use as a resource, not to mention a lot of the fun things that you do with your customers out in your market, like the nailing competition, but also going back, what was it, 2014, 2015, when you guys had dealt with that fire?
Yeah, that was 2015, May 17th. I'll never forget that day.
I'm sure. Well, and I think even in the industry, I don't know that anybody will. Anytime you hear or see something like that, it's shocking. But you guys were Philly Floor Store, and I think a lot of people knew you because of a lot of the name you had made for yourself. Again, not just in Pennsylvania or Philadelphia, but across the country. And when that happened, I remember it hit the news, and I remember seeing the pictures, and it was decimating. It was shocking. I couldn't even imagine. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and kind of drive into the birth of City Floor Supply and all of that?
Yes, Brett. This is Mike Glavin. We're a family business through and through in the wood floor distribution. Our day in and day out customer is somebody who subscribes to the National Wood Floor Association, and it's the wood floor contractor. That is our customer. It was always, in our 30 years of doing business, was to service the hardwood floor contractor, taking what problems, what they had always, and looking at it. And things got reversed, and that, we knew about fire, and fire in the wood floor industry is something that happens all the time. We've had customers, well, since our fire, but well before it, that had fires, and we were super cautious. Me being the most just neurotic sometimes about fire, and yet it happened to us. It happened on a Saturday night into Sunday morning, and our entire place burned down without anything being recouped or being able to be reused, including all our vehicles. Vehicles were literally melted. Our machine shop was melted, and you can imagine for a flooring distributor has polyurethane solvents, wood molding, and we were, in May, we have our largest inventory. We're stocked to the fullest because we're preparing for the summer, and that, so we had, our inventory value was as high as it will be in May than it will be all year. It all went away that May 17th. But we had some awesome friends in the industry and relationships that, just helped us through it. And I'm telling you, our business wouldn't be here today if we didn't have the help of the industry. And that did, allow us to reconstruct and continue that narrow little spider web of ability to do business until we got back on our feet.
So we had this is Joe Glavin. We had other distributors reach out to help us with, equipment, vans, trucks. We had vendors extend terms for us, and we had contractors pay their bills early to be a help. So it truly was kind of industry wide, from vendor to other distributor to contractor, helping us during that time.
Wow. I mean, I couldn't even imagine seeing it all and really the blink of an eye go away, especially. And I guess you don't even consider that what you were talking about, Mike, with having, the highest amount of inventory that you would have all year long up in flames. But I think what's so inspiring is what you just mentioned, Joe and Mike, the help, the outreach, the support that our industry is just, that's the core of our industry. And I don't know that every construction trade can say the same thing about how the industry networks and is really a big family. That's unbelievable that you had, even competitive distributors helping out and contractors looking to help out however they could. It really does say a lot about our industry. So fast forward, what was your thoughts once you got over the devastation of what had happened? Was there ever a doubt that you guys would build back up again?
Yeah. Again, I have goosebumps right now. Yeah, that morning when you were watching everything smoldering, we didn't, you just couldn't piece it all together. It became a little bit numb, and we had a family meeting, that night to say, because we wanted to meet with the company, Monday morning, because nobody had a place to go to work. But we then just kind of kicked it into what was in the plan before. And, you follow and read the business books for having a disaster plan. And we did have a disaster plan in place that we had tested back and forth a few times and found out that things within our plan didn't work. And it was only, because having the plan was one thing, but then you have to test it in order to make sure. And, then because it was in writing, other people, that is other consultants that we had involved, then, they kicked in, like they weren't numb. They knew, exactly what had to be done and started working on things like that Sunday. So, because this happened that Sunday afternoon, they were working on, the list of open orders. So the people that need to be contacted on Monday about X, Y, and Z. And then all of the processes, just started because there was a plan in place.
And backup.
Yeah. And with our investment we're a hardwood floor company that has significant technology behind us. We've always invested in, and we're, still working on it. Like, for example, today, one of our guys is working with Dell because we're going with the new server system. So that part of our disaster recovery was to know that we did have a plan in place. Then the next thing was to be able to communicate, which we did have in place. Our ability, and you touched on it, is to say how we got our brand out to be able to communicate with our customers, and with that we used that. And Karen that next morning was working with Wick & Copy, and we put out information on both Facebook. At that time, I don't think Instagram was really it was just budding.
It was budding. We definitely had an email. We had email marketing in place for quite some time. We had been blogging for probably 4 to 5 years at that point. Mm-hmm. We had our e-commerce site. So once they said go, we got moving, and thankfully we had all those channels in place, and it was very easy to get the messaging out immediately to our customers and our vendors that we were going to continue our social media and specifically our YouTube channel. We pretty much documented the rise or
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, we pretty much documented from day one the rebuild and communicated that almost weekly.
And just worked at a remote office, and that's where we decided to rebrand it.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That was going to be my question. At what point did you decide that, it's time to rebrand and put together a new business model?
In our disaster plan, I have a brother that operates a business 30 miles from here. And we said, well, if the place burns down, what are we going to do? And it was the same for his business. If the place burns down, what are we going to do? Or, just to say, and we worked at his place of business. We just set up what we called the war room. And within that, we had no product to deliver, but we had a lot of work to do. And so with the lot of work to do, every day was a meeting with the insurance companies, banks, and then also now we're looking at real estate. And there was a tremendous amount of, work that had to be done to rebuild. But the idea of the rebranding was we were also at a crossroads with our website and shopping cart. As if we started with our website and we took our first order on the website in 2011, and we had worked through information that was given to us by marketing consultants that had said that the geographic nature of pages with Philly, as it was Philly floor, that was going to limit with some of the how Google did its search engine type thing. So we followed the advice and said, well, this is as good a time as any to, because we went through a revision inside our website as we had very limited business. And that was, revision 2 of our website at that time. So we had, we're developing, and we just went full bore at that, hoping that everything would work out. So rebranding our company from Philly Floor Store to City Floor Supply was a big undertaking, but we had no product to deliver, so we were going to stay working. And it really did come together through that, following the advice of marketing people that told us that the tens of thousands of pages that are now on our website allows us again, tremendous ability to communicate with our customer that you can find. And it was all developed with the idea that we wanted to be 24/7, that if somebody's working at their desk on a Sunday night and they wanted to pay their bill, they should be able to. And that was the idea of our website, was, to have something that, they could place an order and, look at their account and pay bills and all that type of work inside our website. And we just made it better and better over the course. We're now on our 4th revision on our website, and I could say, like that was all part of the rebranding for our website, and that led to a significant ability to be able to communicate further, because then Karen took over, information that we could then weave into with social media.
Well, and that's what, from the outside looking in, from somebody who's not in your market, but who is aware of where you guys were and where you are today. I mean, it's almost like you were a great business, and all of a sudden when that fire took everything, I mean, it's like you guys rose from the ashes, and now you're just a monster. So you guys today, when we take a look at business today and what you guys are doing today. I know for NWFA, you guys host schools and you're huge supporters of what we do. I was fortunate to be at your place. I think it was only maybe a year or two after you had rebuilt your new building. What you guys have put together is so impressive. And I love, obviously selfishly from the NWFA's perspective, I love that NWFA is so much in front of your customers when they come in, and it just validates that partnership. And hosting schools has been great. But the other things that you guys do with your nailing competitions, and you get everybody in the community involved and excited and engaged about, about the industry and why everybody's even in business. Can you talk a little bit about what you all are seeing today in terms of business and some of the concerns and issues that we're all seeing?
I was just mentioned, we're 30 years in business, and last year was our best year ever. This year will blow apart last year's performance. So with that being said, there is a lot of opportunity in the chaos. I put in a note that the degree of disorder. I started in this business as a chemist, as a paint chemist, and one of the formulas that are drilled into your head is the energy. There's a formula inside thermodynamics that talks about the degree of disorder, and you have to have it for a good chemical reaction. And it is the truth. It is something that if you want, like for us, and I'm so far removed from those days of doodling with chemicals, but it does remind me of where we're at now, is that there is that chaos allows for us to communicate with our customers over and over again about, things that we do have, or that, can help solve a problem, in another way. And so business climate, the media feels like it wants to put us in a recession immediately. You can't certainly understand that with the tremendous amount of inflation that has occurred, we've had to change how we look at things, because before it was, things were what I call regular, in that you got regular price increases. You saw that 2 to 3% style price increase. And so we tracked revenue with the idea of, that 2 to 3% price increase was something that was occurring. But now we got a price increase today from a vendor that's 15%. It's going to start in August. That vendor had a price increase in March of almost 8%. But that kind of price increase led us to, we track units way more now than we ever have. And that's so we understand, that, what's being consumed, so we can, make our buying better and that kind of thing. But, so tracking units is something a little different. We didn't do that to the intensity that we look at it today. That's when you say the business climate with, right now, as fast as the red oak pricing went up there in, the end of 2020 to 2021, it is plummeting now. And with, you never want to buy high and sell low. So we're very cognizant of our inventory, because we're following, in some of the commodity pricing, what oak is, that, we are making sure that we stay competitive. And again, our month that we're in now, that we're ending today, will be the best month that we've had in our company history, knowing that guys are hearing the phone ring less. We have regular conversations, and we are knowing that, and one vendor that I spoke to earlier this week said that, he would welcome a bit of a slow to get things back to normal. And I was like, boy, that's an interesting statement. I met with a customer yesterday in the showroom who owns a different business, totally different market. He's looking to buy hardwood floors. And he said that, yeah, we'll probably see that type of thing happen. But he said, but I don't think that it will cause us the pain that what happened in 2008.
Right.
And again, it was a totally different industry, and because that pain that was in 2008 was excruciating. But
yeah,
we think that this region, the Mid-Atlantic region, is still seeing building occurring. We are seeing the commercial building, that is the apartment work, still moving forward. The school work, as far as school building and school renovation, which is a market segment that we service, is doing well. That business, because of COVID, really took a hurt, but has come out of that with great performance. So when you ask how is business today, it certainly is different. And we haven't touched on, the gorilla that sits on everybody's desk, and that is, the supply chain. Getting product, we're shifting all the time. That is, and, again, this becomes that there's a degree of chaos. So, this, Brett, that we couldn't get a guy to change use and finish. You could give him a year's supply and he wouldn't change of finish, because my crews are used to it. I'm using this finish. I'm comfortable with it. I know how it behaves in every scenario of relative humidity and length of room cut. But now, if you can't get that product, and you're not going to get it for 4 weeks,
they're being forced.
They are forced to use something different, and voila, now they have a new favorite finish. And it comes down to, that is and something that this chaos has allowed, for, other products to get used, and people becoming more comfortable with them. That never before has there been so much innovation, through this supply chain. I mean, the innovations in our industry for the last 5 years are magnificent. They've helped companies grow greatly because they're able to do better work faster.
Right. In terms of innovation with product, I even heard from some of the manufacturers that are out there that because of a lot of the chemical shortages, or even the inability to get some of these chemicals, they've been forced to basically redevelop some of their finishes, use a new product or a new chemical in a finish or in an adhesive to stay on the market, to try to stay in front of their customers. It is great. I mean, it's great to see new innovation and new technology evolve. And it's honestly, it's healthy to see people try new products and get out of their comfort zone, forced out of their comfort zone. It's healthy from a business perspective and from let's shake things up a little bit. Not that anybody needs any more shaking than we've seen these last few years, but you mentioned a lot of things there. One thing that came to mind, just kind of backing up a little bit about the economy and really the wood flooring industry as a gauge to the economy. I've always felt like the construction industry, especially when it comes to the remodel side and the finished trades like wood flooring, tend to have a little bit better pulse on what's happening and what's coming than a lot of even economists are able to predict. Do you guys see that? And it's very refreshing to hear up in your part of the country, in your market, that business seems strong still, even in the commercial sector. And I'd say that I hear the same from across the country in most markets. Do you feel like our industry has, and I don't know if it's influence is the right word, but do you guys feel like we have a bit of a not a crystal ball, but a better pulse on the economy than other aspects?
And we talk about our business is focused on helping the hardwood floor contractor, and hardwood floors are used, and purchased. So the remodeling of a home, which is done by the contractor, or the building of a beach home or second home, and those kind of things that are including hardwood floors, are continuing, because it's a very specialized group that takes care of that customer. It's not the same guy that is putting in tens of thousands of feet of LVT. Now, some of our customers put in a lot of LVT, but that's not their day in and day out, bread and butter, if you will. And so I believe that just because you're insulated a little more because of in the hardwood floor business, because of the customer, the clientele, and the specialization of the work that's done. And so you say that we're shielded a bit from maybe what's happening in other products. I know that people who are in the high-end cabinet business are just swamped, and when they talk about a 1 year lead time, some of our guys are 6 months scheduled. That never happened before, and yet the schedules are still 6 months out. So there is a little insulation to the industry. I think that's what you were getting at is, but I know that because they are, I follow the data, as far as housing starts in our region, it's still growing. There's still a housing shortage, which, the housing shortages don't get fixed quickly.
Right.
And there's still this, so, with that, maybe things slow down to where you're not 6 months in advance, because, we tell somebody that you're not going to get your floor for 14 weeks. They're not upset. 3 years ago, you couldn't say that to somebody.
Not right.
But now it's an expectation that you're going to have to wait some. And so that kind of goes back to a mill that I was talking to, is that they would welcome things to get back just a little bit to normal, is that, that they're not so stressed and, pushed to 16-week lead times.
Right. So how are you guys dealing with that? And that's, you think about a contractor, someone who is 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months out, booking out, and I'm hearing it also. There's people that are so booked out. And although the spigot's been turned down a little bit, maybe not as busy as it has been over the last year, how do you deal with a customer who, say they've locked in a price 6 weeks out, and all of a sudden they come to pick up the material and the cost has just skyrocketed? Obviously, it takes a lot of customer service skills from the contractor's point and business skill to be able to understand that prices aren't locked in, and especially in today's volatile market. But how are you guys handling that from your side of the industry, from the supply chain side?
This is that constant communication. And we are working, at that, deliberately. So, from the standpoint of the lead time, so that you don't have expectations, and it's not a perfect place. Have we, disappointed. Some, yes. We try to get ahead of it, but some things, get out of your control because this warps into why are there some of the lead time issues? Why are there some of the issues? And that's because some there's just not enough workers. And, that like we hear those complaints, they're happening to everybody. And so like sometimes communication, as hard as we work at it, it does, we always want a positive result, but sometimes it happens, but the key to all of it has been, communicating at with our vendors and having those relationships with people that, you always want to make sure that, that we matter. So we're connecting with people that we've talked to for 30 years, to get an understanding as to when. Sometimes we feel like we're a nuisance, but it's that overdrive of communication, so that we can then provide that information to the customer. Our regular, blog post, our regular, social media post, and that regular Instagram post. All those things help us, with the change out of our email weekly to our customer base about, promotion and developing product information is always in flux because things that we might have put on the calendar, from a marketing standpoint, 6 months earlier, now you can't get. And that has happened regularly.
Karen here. We've definitely had to change our approach a little bit in terms of messaging. But the good thing is that we've had a solid marketing engine in place for so long that it's very easy to kind of swipe and adapt when we need to. So our emails and our social media, while planned well in advance, very easy to switch out messaging when things like this occur. So we can't discount wood or abrasives one week, but we have adhesive in that particular week. The messaging is easily switched to that. And it's helped us, quite a bit in terms of getting the word out.
It's weird. I'll give you an anecdote. We literally yesterday shipped a vendor 2 parts from our stock so that they could complete equipment that we had ordered and ship to us because their policy was not to ship incomplete or, equipment. So they literally had us overnight them the parts that we had in stock so they could complete the machine to ship it to us so that we could sell it.
Oh, you're kidding. Wow.
That's the reality.
It is. And business has changed so much. And that's a great example of that. It's funny. We've actually had, and we have a lot of manufacturer support with tools and things that are stored here for our schools. And similarly, we had a manufacturer a little while back that, hey, just wondering if you have an extra belt. I need this belt shipped off for this machine because we're on back order and we don't have anything else out there. So it really is. It's insane how deep these supply chain issues have affected everything we're doing. But I wanted to kind of touch a little bit, and Karen, you had briefly mentioned how you're reaching out differently and how important it is to adjust the messaging and everything that goes out to not just your customers, but the industry. And you guys have done such a great job. I mean, I see some of your blog posts and some of your technical tips and all kinds of things. And it's great. And the videos, I know you guys hosted a school for us recently, and I saw the video you put together for the school. And I know you had, Lenny, our instructor there, and you were getting some good technical, tips and videos with him. It really does reach out within the industry and it spreads. And I think it's that universal language that we all have where we say, oh, now I understand how to do this or what that little tip or trick was, how helpful it was. Can you just talk a little bit about how you've adjusted and how important it is for you to be in front of the industry with your messaging?
Sure. I've been working with these guys about 10 years now. And when I started with them, they had already, they just started in video, but they understood the importance of video marketing, messaging, and also helping customers solve problems with how-to videos, problem-solving videos. And obviously, everyone that works here, from counter sales to the sales reps to the owners, have expertise in the hardwood flooring industry. So that kind of sets us apart from a lot of the competition. And we wanted to be able to help the customers solve their problems if they're on the job, if they need to call us, if they want to learn how to install hardwood over concrete, things of that nature. So we just kind of developed a strategy based on questions that our workers here had gotten all the time in the field. And we just kind of went from there, and it expanded to a video collection of, I believe we have over 100 videos on our YouTube channel. And it grew over the years. We have about 10,000 subscribers, and I think close to 5 million video views. And we get a lot of good feedback, and it's been a really good medium for us. And during the pandemic, obviously we weren't filming as much, but we were still able to get messaging across via some videos and just utilize past videos to help stay in front of the customers and get the message out in terms of what we had available and what we could do during that time.
I mean, that's it, and it shows. I think a lot of what you guys are pulling together is very well put together. How important is your presence through social media? This has been something that, Mike, I think you had even mentioned earlier. I don't even know if Instagram was around or nearly what it is today, back in 2015. But today we're seeing, not just Facebook, but Instagram and TikTok, and I mean, you name it, everything's out there. You guys are on just about every one of those platforms. Can you talk a little bit about your role there and how important, or what you see that communication device, how important is that to you and your marketing abilities?
Yeah, I mean, it's super important, I think, for us to be on social media, just trying to post as much as we can. We started the Instagram in 2017, and we try to post a few times a week just to stay in front of people, just to have people know that, like, we're still here, we have these sales going on. Also to post, kind of breakout videos from our YouTube videos. For example, the NWFA school, we have this kind of recap video, but we also have breakaway videos of like little tips that Lenny showed the students. And they're little, 3 to 5 minute videos. And those are great for posting on social media because they're just about one specific topic, like how to replace a floorboard. And that's a really, really good piece of information that we could put both on the blog and on Instagram, and then we could put it on Facebook, and we could put it on TikTok. So it's good for spreading information. It's also good for one-to-one communication with people. We'll get DMs on Instagram from people asking, hey, do you have this in stock? Or asking questions about something that we posted. So it's good to have that kind of interface to talk to the customers and make it a little bit more personal. And they know that they're talking to like somebody's behind the phone, literally typing to them, which is pretty cool. And I feel like it kind of broadens our horizons. Sometimes we'll get, comments or messages in different languages. We have people asking if we ship to like certain places in like South America and Europe and things like that. So I feel like it's really kind of brought in the scope of awareness of our business to kind of an international level.
I think Instagram in particular, too, we found that we get a lot more engagement on that platform than I think we initially thought we would. We were on Facebook for so long, and we thought, we're starting to see a lot of contractor activity on Instagram. Let's just kind of like check it out. And I don't know how many followers did we have within the first week. It was like a few hundred. Yeah, and then it just kept growing. And now we're noticing that TikTok is another platform we want to explore. We've just kind of dipped our toe in the pool there, but it looks like it's going to be, it's obviously a growing platform, and I think it's going to be a good place for us to be.
Yeah, as I see, at this social media, as the old guy that doesn't use social media, it is a tremendous way to communicate. It's forced me to use it, and we have this hands-on visual group. That is us that work in the hardwood floor industry, and we're proud of the hands-on work that we do and that we're involved with. And so that visual ability, when you talk about products and you talk about the work that gets done, to be able to share it is what the social media is so effective at. And so it helps us to communicate, and we've seen tremendous benefit. That engagement is because we're, it is a part of it's a give and take. And that when you say we get DMs, we are responding to somebody's question, that helps us have more customers in more places, and that's helping us to build our business. And we have some awesome events that let us engage with that. So the Nailer Day was started before social media started, or the drivers of social media and how active people are on it. Because we had our first Nailer Day in 2011. We wanted to do something with Nailer Day as an active event for guys and we wanted them to try different nailers. That was the purpose and reason. Okay. We couldn't get somebody to change. We could, and yet there was these new products that were coming out that, Primatech had the Primatech engine that was changing. Power Nail had the roller, had their new nailers that were, on rollers. And we wanted people to try new equipment, and nobody would try new stuff. And that was why Nailer Day was invented. And nice. And it's grown to a way to be, continually engaging, and it turned into, our signature open house event that guys, again, we have a group of people that are really good at what they do, and they want to show you that they're really good at it. And
Exactly.
So we put in place that, they follow the National Wood Floor Association spec for nailing, and we can measure how fast they do it, and it's incredible. I find it incredible how well people do it, and we have people that travel to come to it, but it is a way that we get a chance. It performs really, really well in social media as well, because it's active, and you see somebody with success, what they're able to do.
Well, I couldn't agree more, and I know Sharon goes to it every year. She just loves going there. She makes sure when we're putting our calendar together for the next year that she's marked in for attending the Nailer Day, because it brings so much energy and activity, and you guys do such a great job of promoting it and showing off the skills that these guys have when they're nailing up a floor. And it really is. I mean, it's like you said, when someone's good at it, when they're a fast nailer, and we tried a nailing competition at Expo the first year that I was hired on here, and I think it was in 2012 or 13, Expo in Dallas, I believe. It's not an easy feat to put together, and it took a lot of preparation on our part just to try to do it. And I mean, it was fun. It was so much fun to see people come through and try it out. I think the winner of what we ended up putting together was the wife of one of our members, and it was because she was so accurate. We had painted little spots on the board where you had to hit the spot every 6 inches or whatever it was. So it was a matter of speed and accuracy. And she was so meticulous with where she placed every fastener. But the point is, I mean, it was not easy to put together. So what you guys do every year has become a bit of a, everybody's looking forward to it. Have you ever considered expanding that into a regional type event?
Yes, and you just hit the nail on the head with what it takes to do it, and the amount of effort. And then things, COVID put the big pause on everything. I mean, so we're in this. We got the 3-year pause. I think we're lifted from that finally.
Right.
And so, we have talked about expanding, and we were actually scheduled to expand, but COVID put the kibosh to that. So we will revisit that, because it is a chance, see guys let's say in a different region. We do get some people that travel, 300-400 miles to come to this, but
wow.
We feel as though we can reach more.
Nice.
If we just pick up and move it around a little bit. So yeah, that is definitely in the future that we've discussed.
That's awesome. Just one more thing, and I wanted to get your perspective on distribution as a whole, and where you see change, where you see the distribution network moving towards. And I say that because I think what I've noticed looking outside of the wood flooring industry, we're a little bit unique through the distribution channel network, and it's a strength that we have in our industry. The glue that holds our industry together is our distribution channels, our distributors. I think there's so many other, even in the trades industries, where people are buying direct, or people are buying, it's more through wholesale, or, there's just so many different networks. But what do you see in terms of business changing for distribution in the future, good or bad?
There's a lot of pressure on current structure of distribution model. I mean, it is, and what I mean by the pressure that's put on it is that, because regularly the National Wood Floor Association put out a survey that would ask, what's and one of the questions inside that survey was the impact of the box store. And have we seen the extent of, because wood flooring products and contractors are, working with accounts at the big box store. But, one of the things that our business was established with a service motto. And so we have this industry uses very specific equipment. Our, one of the things that makes us different is that we have a machine shop. We have one of the best machine shops in the country in our business. And, we are able to do and make, parts to equipment and fix stuff, because nobody wants their, whether it be their American drum sander or their Hummel, we see equipment that's used for more than 30 years. And it's because, people will repair it rather than replace it. So our machine shop, from the standpoint of service, the other part of our service is wood floor being technical, is we measure moisture and the subfloor moisture on every wood flooring delivery.
Temperature and relative humidity.
Temperature and relative humidity. It's a starting point that somebody gets on their invoice. So the contractor, and he relies on that information, it's one little step that helps him. We track moisture content on every load that comes in. So we track lots inside our system, and we know. So my point there is that the big box store, the lumber liquidators, or the reseller, because purchasing is being done in a lot of different ways by the possibly the end user and even the contractor, is that those services you can't get at other at other places that you can buy product. And so that service is relied upon with our customers. The other part, and so you say, well, how is it changing? Without a doubt, you walk into a shopping mall today and it's a ghost town. So, we know that the chances for brick and mortar style businesses can see a struggle because there's tremendous, the Amazon type businesses that are out there in the world. And having a website and that kind of stuff and being able to just sit at your desk and buy product is out there. So we've adapted to be able to, and we see that in our adaptation, particularly coming through COVID, we ship more through UPS now than we ever have, and it's growing constantly. To the tune of we'll ship UPS even in the market that we deliver to. Like they have a scheduled delivery of Tuesday and Friday in their region, and they want it on a Thursday. So we'll ship it UPS to them because they can't wait till Friday to get it. And they're not going to jump in their car and drive the 60 miles to come get it. So even though we have a network of and a delivery schedule within our region, which I think most distributors have that kind of structure, we're using other shipping methods, and UPS, FedEx, common carrier to a job site is that's a competitive advantage for us. Nobody wants to have a tractor trailer pull up and try to offload it at a job site. Right. It's just that is nobody wants to do that. It's pain. And we solve that pain where we do job site deliveries and we bring it in the house, and then we're able to do some other parts of our service, which is, moisture measurement, temperature, and relative humidity that gets documented on the customer's paperwork.
Wow. At the job site.
Yeah, and at the job site. And that is so how is the wood floor distribution model affected? Do we see mills wanting to, like certain mills, because everybody needs business, want to sell direct? Yes. I mean, we see that. We see, various other places that you can buy products that we sell, on the internet or in other places. Yes, we do see that, and it is something that we will adapt to. So we've been working and continue to work at, like I said, the fourth revision on our website is to make sure that our rankings for SEO and making sure that our products pop when somebody's Googling. Because what's the first thing that everybody does when they try to find out about a product is they Google it. I mean, and my wife is no different than everybody else is making a purchase decision, and all of that has something we're cognizant of.
Distribution is really the glue in our industry that keeps everybody together, from manufacturers to the contractor and everybody else. It's critical. And what I love is when a distributor brings in the manufacturers, they bring in the reps and put together shows so that the contractors have that one-on-one connection, and they get a chance to not only see the product and see other product, but also talk to a rep who may be able to share some new things that are happening. Why I love that is because I know from my market, when I was in Denver, I think we were lucky if 5% of the wood flooring contractors in that state even knew who NWFA was, and much less would travel to go to a show, the NWFA Expo. So just to have distribution hold these vendor days or nailer competitions or whatever it is, to be able to get that connection, it's a benefit for the whole industry, especially for the contractors that may not ever have any desire to venture outside of their own market. So,
Brett, the trainings, the National Wood Floor training, we do those because it really does help our business and our contractors. And I wanted to touch on that. The curriculum that's put together, I come from that more of a stickler, that there's a specification and you follow it, you don't break the rules, so you don't get in trouble. And, we have so much, there's a lot of technical ability, a lot of technical stuff, a lot of chemistry that's occurring that, you really don't want to have guys go off the reservation, but it happens regularly. And I think what National Wood Floor Association is doing, where it creates this specification that, this is something that you need to, follow A through B to C to D. And, and then and by showing it at the show with qualified people that are saying the same thing each and every place over and over again is a tremendous credit to the National Wood Floor Association and to what is put together. That I'm proud we're proud to have that come to our facility. I mean, it's a great opportunity for us to have our customers, be in, like-minded conversations, but also have the structure that is put together.
Yeah, so what you do with that curriculum puts everybody on the same page. And when you're on the same page, there's less issues, there's less callbacks. It inherently just makes everyone better. And it is that curriculum. And what you guys designed is tremendous.
Well, thank you guys. I truly appreciate that. That is our objective. And, we couldn't do it without the instructors that we have that are out there that understand that curriculum. They are. I think at your facility, we've had Lenny Hall and Jason Elquist out there. And we've got a handful of great instructors that, they're not doing this because it's a career for them. They're doing it because they love it. They're doing it because they want to give back, every one of them. And they get it. Yeah, exactly. And it's not just the instructors. You're right. It's the reps and the other, even contractors who come in and dedicate their time to help volunteer instruct that make those schools happen. And everybody understands it. And that's what, again, it makes our industry so unique in comparison to other trades or even other industries, because we're just such a tight-knit family that's willing to give.
Yeah, for sure.
All boats in the harbor rise. And the having the National Wood Floor Association engage with our customers, here in our region, which actually now we have customers that travel a distance, like Canada, Houston, that type of thing to come to a training. That speaks volumes to what you're able to get. And I'll tell you, I have noticed. I mean, part of my job has been troubleshooting and problem solving with customers both on the site and I have less of that to do. And I credit that to the training that's happening. I have less of that to do now than I had, 15, 20 years ago. And,
wow.
And I just think that is did I track that? No, but I know where my time gets consumed, and the pressure of, job site issues was always, when it's an issue, I feel for the guy who's going through it. it certainly was stress. And there is a lot less of that now. And I say, well, what's the reason? And I think one of the reasons is that there is good training, and that only is going to got to continue. And that's why we want to continue to support the type of training that's now being put forth by the National Wood Floor Association. Excellent.
Well, we look forward to bringing more training to your facility. You guys are perfect hosts. You've always done such a great job with the panels and the classroom and just being great hosts. So thank you so much for your time and supporting this podcast and our industry.
Thanks.
All right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Jeff.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.